Hey, Samara here, CEO and founder of Fye Finance and the creator of your Trump Effect Masterclass. So, what's in the Trump Effect Masterclass? It is a class designed to educate you on the tax shelters that are out there that are afforded to taxpayers like you and myself. And the reason why I created this class is because every year there are 4 commonly made mistakes on tax returns. Tax filers don't file on time, or they make mathematical errors, or there's missing or wrong information, or most importantly, they just don't know the tax rules and laws. They change, right, constantly, and sometimes people are just not kept abreast on what's new. And so I created this tax class in order to educate you on the different tax laws and shelters that are out there that can be utilized for taxpayers like yourself and me. In the Trump Effect Masterclass, you're going to get access to tax shelters around various areas, and it is a self-paced class. So you'll have a lifetime access to the information, and you are able to take the class at your own pace. Now, I also wanted to give you a little teaser of what you can expect when you take the class. So we had a client that came to us during the tax season, and this client was an S Corp filer. Okay, so as an S Corp filer, this client is able to deduct charitable contributions. That's right. As an S Corp, you can deduct your charitable contributions. Now, this client was not aware of this rule, and because she was not aware, she had not been doing it in previous years. But when she came to us, we were able to get her on the right track. We were able to reduce her taxable income by $18,000. This resulted in a tax savings of a little over $3,000, which not only was reflected on her business tax return, but because she's an S Corp filer, you know that business income gets passed to your personal tax return. So then she had a reduced personal taxable income. And so that's just one example of how you can use the current laws, as long as you're aware of them, in order to reduce your taxable income. So again, tax season is upon us. If you want to start right now and putting the Trump effect in your life, taking advantage of these tax shelters that the IRS has created, I urge you to buy the masterclass as soon as possible and get started today. Hey, Fye Finance family, welcome to Flip It with Samara. Before we get into it, right, I'm sure you all see the Christmas tree in the background. That's right, it is the week of Christmas, and I am in love with all things Christmas. I love the celebration of my Lord and Savior's birth, right? And so we wanted to make sure that I brought that into the live tonight, okay? So now I will go back to our normally scheduled program. So welcome to Flip It with Samara. If you are joining us on YouTube, welcome. If you are joining us on the podcast, welcome. Glad that you are listening in. If you're on Facebook Live, hello, give me a shout out. Let me know that you are here. So Flip It, right? It was a show designed in order for us to flip the narrative on how we view and how we use finances in our business and our personal settings, right? And so that's what we do every week. We're bringing you strategies, we're bringing you tips, our own personal experiences, our education that we have acquired throughout the years, and we're sharing all of this information with you. So definitely you get good content week over week and things that you can implement in your life. Okay, so that's why we designed this show. We wanted to create a safe place where we can share information and allow our viewers to ask us questions as well. Okay, so we have a lot of things going on in the Fye Finance arena. So the first thing is our YouTube page, right? If you have not already signed up, please make sure that you visit our YouTube page and subscribe. Again, we share good content every week. And so once you subscribe, you can definitely go back and watch these videos in replay. Okay. We also have a podcast. So our podcast is now streaming on Audible. We're on Amazon Music. We're on, I think, Google now too. Yep. So on various avenues. So make sure that you are also signing up for our podcast so you can listen to me on your drive to work, right? On your way into work. And then we also have a summit coming up. This is really, really big news, right? So our summit is going to be the Connect and Elevate Summit. It's happening January the 14th. It is a live event and it is a free event. I want to make sure that I say that it is a free event, but you have to register, okay? So visit the website www.Fye Finance, right? Information is on the screen, /main event. Okay, make sure that you register for the summit as soon as possible because seats will be limited, right? And it is a totally free event. We're going to have some great speakers, sharing all of their information with us in their areas of expertise. Okay. And I will be your host, of course, bringing all these speakers on. And then I'm also going to have a session where I'm going to share with you as well. So you don't want to miss that. January 14th, save the date, mark your calendars. Free event, get over to the website so you can register because spaces are limited. Okay. And then my favorite time of year, right? Tax season is upon us. So tax season is scheduled to kick off officially in February. And so we are accepting our consultations, right? So please visit the website, www.fyefinance.com/booking, so that you can book a tax prep consultation. So it is live. I think our bookings start on January 18th, as you can see on the screen. Right? So make sure you visit the website so that you are able to book a consultation at your leisure, right? Returning clients, if nothing has changed and you still want to talk to me, you can book too. I like to catch up, right? So the last thing, right, our masterclass, which you saw in an ad previously, but we still have our masterclass available for you to purchase. And since the masterclass does involve a lot of things that are time sensitive things that you have to do before the end of the year, I would urge you to sign up for the class as soon as possible so that you can ensure you can implement those things before the end of the year and take advantage of them in this upcoming tax season. Okay, so this masterclass is designed for the DIYer. If you already have an accountant, you can still use it because maybe your accountant is not aware of certain strategies that you can take advantage of. So definitely sign up for the class. Again, it's self-paced, right? Take it at your own pace so that you are able to implement these strategies in your life or share them with your accountant so that you make sure that they are taking advantage of them for you on your tax return, okay? But if you have any questions about the class, the tax prep season, definitely book that consultation. We would love to talk with you, and we would love to sit down and explain our processes with you and connect with you as a client, right? All right, so jumping in tonight. Tonight is all about branding, okay? And since I am not an expert on the matter, I thought that I would bring on someone who is, okay? So JP Hightek has agreed to join us on tonight. He is also going to be one of the platform speakers in the summit, where he's going to do a deeper dive into branding as it pertains to entrepreneurs. But we definitely wanted to have him on the show tonight to share with us his expertise, right? So without further ado, I'm going to bring him on. JP, hello, how are you?
Hey, hello, Fye family. How's everybody doing today? I am super, super honored and excited to be here with you guys today.
Yeah, we got some people joining already. I think I saw Angelica in the comments. I saw Casey in the comments. I think Samara was in the comments. So we definitely have some people that are interested, right, in branding and how it works for their business. So if you can, please introduce yourself for those who may not know you.
Of course, absolutely. Again, like I was saying, thank you so much for this opportunity. For those of you who do not know me, like I said earlier, my name is JP Hightek, and I am a branding expert, cinematographer, and software developer. And what I do is help companies, individuals, entities, or what have you, make an impact, right? I help them actually build a brand, right? Make an impact and really have that premium approach to their digital footprint, right? What it, and there's a lot that is entails into that, right? We're talking cinematography, we're talking web design, we're talking graphic design, we're talking strategy of impact, messaging. There's so much that we do in order to help our clients, our business owners, small business owners, being able to achieve that. And the good news is this is something that any small business can achieve. However, there's a method to the madness, and that's why I'm excited to be here. But that's what I do for a living. I've been doing this for over 15 years, and I'm happy and humbled every single time. Me and my team, we have another challenge, I call it, in order to bring what I call the star out of a branded company. So, in a nutshell, that's me.
Okay, you said in a nutshell, but that was a whole lot that you shared with us, right? So what I want to do is just break it down because I know for me, when I first heard the term branding, the first thing that came to mind was a logo, right? Or maybe that's it, just logo, right? Not even colors, but just a logo. But I have now become aware that branding is so much more, right? Like it has so much more to it than just your
Right.
logo, right? It's your voice, it's your personality, it's so much more that goes into it. And so, what I have learned is there are actually three different types of brand, like main types, right? So, you have your corporate brand, you have your
Mhm.
product brand, and then you can have your personal brand, right? So, when you meet with a client, can you walk me through like your process on how you make sure that that client has all three of those areas? And is it important to have all three of those brand types?
Fantastic question. All right. So we'll dive deep into it, right? And again, folks, I'm going to give you guys a little bit. We do have a conference coming.
Right.
And if you
Right.
want more, we're going to, unveil the whole thing during the conference, which I'm
Right.
excited about, January. Okay. Whenever I meet a client,
Mm-hmm.
very important is to, first of all, understand the client's journey,
Right.
right? So many times we want to disregard our journey, but when we're talking about branding, our journey matters, right? My personal definition to branding is, the DNA of your company,
Mm.
right? That's pretty much what it is your DNA, is the fabric that makes your company. Like you just said, by your voice. And some people, you're correct, they'll think about colors, they'll think about logo, they'll think about marketing, they'll think about the graphic design, you name it. All those things individually are not branded, but put together
Mm.
builds your brand. Now, the thing is that all that, if you just put it together to put together without any strategy of impact, without understanding, right, the target's market mind, right, your targeted market's mind. So, professionals will tell you that branding is an individual company, product, or service that has an exceptional value
Mm.
in your target market mind. So whenever I meet with a client or potential client, is to determine who, or what is their target
Mm.
market, right? Personally, sometimes we may think our target market is X, but in reality, based on the type of service that we're offering, right, or the type of industry we're in, or the type of branding approach that we're trying to take, we might have to change that and realize that, oh, actually, my target audience or my market is different from what I thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is so vital because as we identify our target market, now we know who we're speaking to
Mm-hmm.
and we know how to speak to them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that is the very first thing that we do, right? To try to identify that. The next thing, right, that we do is try to see how to connect the owner of the business or should I say the face of the brand, right? How can we connect their story to their brand in order for their target market to embrace it?
Okay. That you said a lot, and I like what you were saying about somebody may come into it thinking that their target audience is one thing, but then it may grow to be something else. I think in my situation, right, I'm gonna just use me because
Right,
that's
right.
all I know. So in my situation, when I first met with you, I definitely had my what do they call it, client avatar, right? In my mind, I knew who my client was. But I do also think that sometimes that can grow to be more than what you start with. So let me give you an example. I had a friend who started off as a stylist, right? And so she was offering styling services to clients, but she was so good at what she did that other stylists wanted to know how she did what she did. So then that's a
Right,
whole
right.
nother audience that she created, right? A whole nother target audience. So there are opportunities or times where it may change. Like you said, to your point, things may change as you start implementing things and getting things moving in your business, especially if it's a new business, right?
Right,
Yep,
correct,
yep,
correct.
yep,
And I like what you're saying because that is crucial to the success of a brand, right?
right.
You just mentioned three types of brand. Actually, there's more, but those are the three
Right,
headers, I
right.
call them, right? And whenever we are approaching this fear, a lot of times, especially in this generation that we're living in, and we're going to 2022, is a little more complex than that because you might find an entrepreneur, right, that might have multiple things they're doing, wearing multiple hats. So as you're doing that, you might find one person, which is, for example, let's take your example, right? You might be, in your case, you are a tax strategist, but at the same time, you'll find somebody like you that will also be who? A speaker, right? So now you have a combination of corporate brand and personal brand. So now the question is, how do you formulate that into a sauce that people can digest?
Okay.
See, that's where it becomes a little complex. That's where we play our part because now the brand strategist, right, or the branding expert like me, now we're like, okay, this person has four titles. Now, the thing is to determine which one is the headline, which one is a subtitle,
Right.
right? But at the same time, making sure that we do not share any shadow on the focus. So that's where a lot of times people will be a little lost because as they're presenting that now they're like, okay, what exactly am I supposed to do? Because I cannot be right a tax strategist and put myself there with a microphone say I'm a speaker. It's confusing. No, it's not. It's the way you cook it, the way you present it that might be confusing to your target audience, right?
Right.
So there are a couple of technical stuff in my industry will tell you that, okay, what is the strategy of impact, right?
Right.
That is one thing that we think about whenever we're working. Well, okay, what's the strategy of impact? Meaning, what is that thing that will be mind blowing to whoever wants to work with you? Because understanding who the face of the brand is, right? And that's also something that is essence in what we're building. If we do not identify the actual face of your brand, because sometimes some corporation will pick a specific person, an influencer, what have you, as the face of their brand. So now the face of the brand, believe it or not, has a very, very high impact on the type of traffic that the brand will be receiving.
Absolutely.
So now choosing your ideal face is crucial if you're not going to pick yourself.
Right.
Now, why is it right that more than usually more than the norm, people will want to take themselves, their story as their own face simply because we connect better with our own products.
Right. Correct.
right?
Right.
The why that caused us to create it is usually more powerful than anybody else's,
Correct.
right? And that is what people resonate with a lot. And as people resonate with that, now they want to understand how is it that your story should matter to me?
Right.
Because the thing is, at first, people don't really care about your story until they know that you care about their need.
That's good. That's good. So, you said a lot, right? But that storytelling part, that is something that I had to work on, right? You have to be able to communicate effectively. I'm glad we had Charles Jackson on a few weeks ago because
There we
we talked
go.
about that communication, right? And how to effectively communicate with clients, with customers, and all of that. So that story part, man, if you can nail that, man, you got it. So we had some questions, JP. I want to get to some questions before we
Absolutely.
get too far. So there was
Mhm.
one question says, how do you find out who your target audience is? I'm gonna let you take that, JP.
Fantastic question, Samara. Thanks for that. Now, your target audience, you got to look at it as a relationship. Okay. Branding is a relationship. Now, how do you get into a relationship? You take the time to study the person you want to be with,
Correct.
right? So that's how you determine who your target audience is. Because if you tell yourself that I want to get in a relationship with, if let's say, for example, you're 40, you want to get into a relationship with somebody that's 20 years old. And as you're trying to find a 20-year old, and you realize that you guys don't have the same desires. They care about something else, you care about something else. So now you got to go find who actually care about the things I care about. So as you're researching, and you end up finding the people or a group of people that actually need what you have to offer, then bam, now you just found your target audience. Now you discover the group of people that you can market to, and now they discover them. Now you got to keep that going, right? You got to keep
Right.
that research going. And as we just mentioned, right, a brand grows, a relationship evolves,
Right.
right? And so we might like something today. If we take the example of Apple, for example,
Right.
the way, even though the company stayed the same, their branding grew, their branding evolved, right? As the years are passing, people's need, people's desire, and interest have shifted a little bit. Even though they still want the same Apple product, the need changes, right? And as that happens, you need to be able to adapt to that, to the new technology, to the new ways of doing things. And that's why you need to build a brand that has room to grow.
I'm so glad you said that because that goes right into my next question, right? So
All
I had
right.
a question about that. When you are thinking about creating your brand, right? And so we're thinking about what is my voice going to sound like? Who am I trying to serve? What colors do I want to use? What do my colors mean? You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like all of that stuff should go into creating this brand, right? And what's my story going to be? So when you're thinking about creating your brand, should you also be thinking about your long-term goals? And should your brand align with those long-term goals? So I'm gonna give you a for instance, right? I'm gonna use me again as a guinea pig. So my long-term goals for Fye Finance is to be an accounting firm where other accountants can come and find work, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so it's going to be much bigger than me. And that's why I never wanted to call it Samara's tax service, right?
Right.
Or,
Right.
you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because I had the thought of, this is going to be something great. And I need Fye Finance to stand alone, right? Like I needed
Hmm.
not to just be Samara's tax service or Samara's accounting firm. So with that in mind, is that approach reasonable? Like, should entrepreneurs think about like what is my long-term goal? What is the end game when they're talking about branding?
Oh man. Man, okay, folks. This question is gonna make me give you a little bit of the
Okay.
conference. You
Okay.
ready for this? I'm
Okay.
gonna
I'm
give
ready.
you a little bit of the conference, all right?
Okay. Let's go.
This is how you build not
Mm-hmm.
just a brand, but a
Mm-hmm.
premium brand. I'm
Okay.
gonna repeat that. Not just a brand, but a premium brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's something called the SAFE approach. SAFE, safe approach, right? The first one is, like we just said, study your audience. Okay? Now, A, you need to adapt
Mm-hmm.
and adopt their philosophy. Okay? Now, F, you need to focus on your strategy of development and impact. And this is about to answer the question you just asked, Samara. E, establish yourself in time, capital TIME.
Wow.
This is crucial, right? Establishing yourself in time, meaning having a strategy of growth in the future. What you said is one of the missing pieces in the cornerstone when people are building the foundation of their brand. Like you just said, it is vital to keep the strategy for the next 2, 3, 5 years
Mm.
in mind when you're building it today. It's just like when we're building a house, right? There are certain things that you may want to be able to do in the future that you may not do right now.
Right.
If you want to have a basement, you don't try to carve a basement after the fact.
Right.
You want to make sure that you have room to be able to do that. Even
Correct.
if you have an unfinished basement, you at least have that put into the blueprint of what you're building.
Right.
So that if later you're trying to grow that, you're trying to develop that aspect of your project, then you can. So many brands are trying to become premium, but because they didn't on the get-go, or their brand expert or manager did not help them build it in a way for them to be able to develop in the future, they either have to restart from scratch, sadly, or start a brand new brand.
Mm.
And that can really affect you. And so, how do you know you've hired the right person? Right?
Mm.
I know you haven't asked that, but that's something that follows
Right.
naturally, right?
Right.
If your brand manager cannot give you a clear vision of the strategies he's implementing for you and why, then you don't have the right company that's worked on your brand. Because any brand expert, first of all, does his homework, comes up with a proper strategy, and is able to articulate clearly. And I love that articulation because last week we had Angelica Prather teaching people how to articulate their words, right?
Right.
So now we're talking about articulating properly your strategy
Right.
and why. And that is one thing that if you ignore, you will have problems in the future.
Mm. That's some good stuff. Safe. I hope y'all got it. I hope y'all got safe. I hope y'all wrote it down. He gave you a little teaser. Okay. So make sure y'all are there January 14th for the summit because I
Hmm.
guarantee you will not be disappointed. So we have one more question, JP,
Sure.
before we move on to the next topic that I wanted to discuss. So Casey is asking, is there a survey or research method that is used to determine your target audience? So you said research, right? Study.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's the S. So how do we do that? How,
Well, good question, and I like that question. As a matter of fact, there is not like a survey that you can use to determine, but there's a strategy of research that
okay.
you can use in order to determine the ideal, target audience. Right? It's extensive. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is
Mm,
extensive, right? It's
okay.
not something you're gonna go online and find. But yes, because like I said, technology changes,
Mm-hmm.
people's need change.
Mm-hmm.
So the strategy that is used maybe in 2019 to try to help you locate the ideal target audience may not work in 2024, right? right?
Right.
Because of all the new needs and where people are spending most of their time and why, and also the type of business that you have. There's so many different businesses out there.
Right.
We don't all have the same need. We don't all serve the same people. So we don't all have the same target audience. So now the question is the type of business that you have ideal for everyone? No, it's not. And you shouldn't even want to serve everybody, as a matter of
Correct.
fact. All right. So now let's go after them. Let's go find those people. And that's why you pay somebody, because I mean, the amount of work that it takes for them to understand like the diversion, the sex, male or female. Even if we look into our analytics in our YouTube, for example,
Right.
for the folks that want to be YouTubers, for example, content creators, when you're broadcasting, you look into your analytics, you realize that, oh, I'm getting more traffic from South Africa, and I'm getting male between, personally, my channel, right? I get males between the age of 25 to 60, and I have 60% of them versus female. Okay, now the question is why? Why is that? Is it my approach? Is it the content that I
Right.
have that is
Right.
more appealing to those type of people, right?
Right.
And why, right? Now, if I wanted to attract more of an age gap of 18 to 25, maybe I need to change the subject matter or the delivery method that I'm using. Maybe I need to change it, right? Sometimes you may have the right company, the right product, but the approach you're using is what may not be working for them, right? Again, talking about going to the relationship, you may be saying the right thing, but because of the way you're saying it, they might not be hearing you. They might just be looking at your appearance more than what you're saying. So now, if you want people to actually pay attention more to what you're saying and pay less attention to your appearance, then there's something to be done there, right? Maybe your colors are too loud, right? And it's just pushing people away. Do you understand why you're using those colors? Do you know why when you're watching the news, most of the time they use blue, red, and white? Why? Are you trying to do those type of things? Or do you have a political type of company, right? Or product that you're selling? All those things matter. And as we implement those, then that helps us really navigate the waters easily and ultimately, impact more people. Whenever I'm saying impact, one thing that I wanted to say real quick, Samara, before you jump to the next question is, a lot of times whenever I'm discussing with different clients, I've realized through the years that not everybody understands the purpose of actually building a brand. Some people, which is, normal. Some people will tell you, I really don't understand why I need a brand.
Right.
If you truly want to know why you need a brand, you need to come January 14th. I'm not going to tell you today.
Right. I was about to say, don't give them too much, JP. Right, definitely tune into the summit. But listen, we had a lot of people blowing up the comments while you were speaking. So I know that definitely a lot of people are interested in this, right? Entrepreneurs want to know, like, how do I build that premium brand? Because at the end of the day, that is how you're going to reach your audience, right? And so that has to be done in a way that's effective. And when I say effective, that means it's converting, okay? It's getting
There we go.
people to you, it's connecting them with you, and then making them your clients, okay? So definitely you shared a lot of good information. But before we go any further, I want to take a quick ad break. So we are going to pause for the cause, and we will be right back after this break. All right, Fye Finance family. So, as you saw in that break, right? Don't miss that summit, January 14th. The summit is going to be packed with a host of experts, okay? And I'm super excited. I'm going to be right there with you taking notes. And we got our very own JP Hightek, right? One of our keynote speakers. So you definitely want to tune in if you felt like what you got, so far has been great, which I can personally say this is some great content, okay? You definitely want to make sure that you are registered and in place for that live summit. So, JP, thank you for pausing for the call. So I wanted to make sure that we plug that summit and get people over because we are definitely giving a lot of good information to help
Hmm.
people who are in business, starting out in business. Maybe they're trying to pivot to something new. We definitely want to help them no matter where they are in their entrepreneurial journey. We had another question from Samara before we paused for the ad break. And so he is asking, how do you know when it's necessary to rebuild your brand? And that's a good question because I will say this. I've seen some giants do it. And when I say giants, I'm talking about Amazon, for instance. Like just recently, they changed their logo. A
Hmm.
lot of things was changed on their website. I don't know if people noticed, but I noticed. And so I was like, what's this about? And it's almost like they're going through this rebranding or they did a small rebranding. So how do you know when that's necessary?
Fantastic questions. I mean, I hope you guys that are asking are going to be there January 14th because these are the type of questions to ask.
Right.
Without giving you too much, right? I'm going to tell you one thing. When do you know it's time to actually build your brand or rebrand?
Right.
Well, whenever you know it's time for growth, right? So, as business owners, you may have started with one service, two service, but as you've been doing it through the years, you're feeling like, you know what? It's time for me to grow. There are a play out of things that I need to add to my services. And now that I'm wearing so many hats, now that, I'm being approached for my expertise in so many areas, I need to offer more things. Well, you cannot just wake up one day and just add more services to the list of your services. It's
Right.
gonna it's gonna create a disconnect with your clientele, at least for the folks that know you a certain way, right? Because you'll see, for example, ex NBA players become business owners, right? Entrepreneurs, or releasing a service and different things, and you'll be like, oh, okay. But pay attention to one thing: they always rebrand themselves, right? And so you got to look at your branding or your rebranding as the way of creating a new solution, a new pill that people will swallow and digest it easily. And if you don't do that and you just slap new services in their faces, first, your current clientele might become confused and wonder if you're still focused on the core value of why they've connected with you in the first place, right? So that can affect your current clientele, and they might leave you because they're confused, or they might feel like you're too distracted or you don't know what you're trying to do, right? Simply because they do not understand what you're doing. But because you've taken the time to rebrand or brand yourself correctly in in regards to all the new things you want to offer, now they understand why. Because they'll take the time to look at the brand. The brand, and here's the deal: a brand without the person calling you, your branding should be able to tell your prospective client what you do effectively.
Right. I agree with that. I love your point about them taking the time to make sure it's an appeal that's digestible, right? Because, listen, people have finicky palates in these streets. And so you want to make sure that, yes, the brand that you are projecting is something that is going to be relatable to people. And I always take the approach of it should be something that's organic. when you are transitioning into different arenas, because we're not saying to stay in one area. Absolutely, the goal is to grow, right? And you can definitely add services to your company. It's just that it needs to feel organic, right? And so that's what JP is talking about, like working with a branding expert to make sure that when you're ready to venture out into these new areas, it's an organic, right, move, and people are ready for it. You've already kind of planted the seed, if you will, right?
Right, right.
You've already planted the seed. And so now you're just going to nurture it and you're going to watch it grow. You're going to water it. And that's where you have to connect with the expert to make sure that that is done properly. Otherwise, you're just wasting a bunch of time and possibly a bunch of money. So, so
Definitely a lot of money. I'm
right,
telling you.
definitely a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Whew.
Absolutely. So great conversation so far, right? So one thing that I also came across with doing searching about branding and all this stuff is that there are like 5 features of a brand. Okay. So and you let me know if I'm correct in asking these things, and tell me if I'm giving away too much too. If I'm giving away too much, just cut me off. Said Samara, I can't even answer that right now. You're
Right,
doing too
right.
much. Okay. But I also thought that it's important to make sure that these features are highlighted because it does speak to who you are as a person and then who your company is trying to serve and who you want people to see you as, right? So there's the promise, right? There's the position, which you already talked about, right?
There you go,
There's the
huh?
personality, which we also talked about. And then there's the story. See, you already touched on these things. And then last, the associations. And that is so key. You have to make sure that you're connected, right? With the
Man.
right people, the right organizations, because that can also be a detriment to your brand if you're not connected to the proper people, right? So help us out, JP. Like expand on some of those things a little bit, right? How important are those 5 features?
What you just said is forms the DNA of
Right.
building a premium brand. And yes, you are 100% accurate, right? It is so on point what you're saying. And yeah, you did your homework. I'm answering without giving too much, right?
Okay.
So it is true because building a premium brand comes with a combination of certain things I just mentioned. In different words, I'll tell you that a premium brand is a combination of supreme quality. That's one, right? Supreme quality, value, purpose, and exceptional experience, right? That experience is what's going to keep your customer with you because it is easy to land a new client. What's going to make that client stay with you though? Well, I'm going to tell you that January 14th. I'm not tonight
Right.
because I will teach you on January 14th. First, what are the things that you're missing? What is making you not convert as many clients as you should want? Second, after you convert them, what are you supposed to do to keep them with you? If you can't keep your clients, is that the same as not being able to convert them in the first place?
Right. Right.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about that.
That's some good stuff because you definitely don't want a revolving door, if you will, right? You don't want clients constantly coming in and leaving, coming in and leaving. I mean, that does nothing. In fact, I feel like that would overwork you as an entrepreneur
It
because,
actually will, because
yeah.
think about this. And that is something that my competition does, right? Where they'll be like, we can bring traffic and really fill your calendar. My thing is, though, I don't want to wake up, have 5 meetings every single day.
Right.
And out of the 5 days a week, which is 25 meeting, barely convert one. You know how much time, energy I've wasted just by
Yes.
meeting with all these people? No,
Yes.
I don't want just everybody just going through my doors, flooding my gates, saying I need this, and to find out this is they're not even part of my tribe. Like
Right.
the people I'm trying to speak to, this is not it. Um, that is crucial.
Mm,
And there are certain elements that you need to implement in order to attract the correct people. And
right.
after you do it, you need to keep them with you.
Right.
Because let's think about one thing I'm gonna tell you, right? One more thing I'm gonna tell you.
Right.
One of the reasons why people stay, if you notice, I'm not gonna give you the recipe, I'm gonna give you the after effect. The after effect is that your client will easily be an ambassador of your
Mm,
service or product. Easy. That's how you know you did something right.
that's right. That there it is, folks. There it is. Okay. Like he is so right. Like I have clients who are like my biggest mouthpiece. Okay. Like they are singing my praises and I get a lot of referrals because of that. So he is right. They will be your ambassador and you don't even have to pay them. Right? All right, so we had one question, I believe, while you were talking about that, JP. So Wayne is asking, in creating a brand, how do you stand out from your competition?
Wayne, January 14th.
Right,
I
right,
can't answer that without giving you, the
right.
recipe. January 14th, I will tell you and teach you how to separate yourself from the competition. There's a key,
Right,
folks. Every speaker is going to be speaking for about 30 minutes. Woo,
right.
it's going to be jam packed.
It's gonna be jam
So
packed. Right.
just come.
Right.
I
So
can
let
tell you today.
right. Let's remind the audience this was an intro, a teaser, if you will, right? That's the reason why we had these speakers on every single week because we wanted to highlight what you are going to be receiving on
Hmm.
January 14th. So you definitely want to make sure that you tune in because everything that JP is saying is resonating with me, especially along my journey. I did, some small changes, if you will. When I first created my business, JP, I didn't want to be the face.
Hmm.
I did not want to be the face of my business. And then I realized in talking with clients and doing my consultation that my clients come to Fye Finance because of me. Like I'm
There
their
you
first
go.
representation of Fye Finance, right? And so they
Hmm.
connect with me. I had so many clients saying, I chose to sign with you because I got a good vibe from you. I really liked your personality. I really like that you listened to my problems. I really like that you educated me. You get what I'm saying?
There you go.
It was like I liked you as a person. And so then I realized, okay, even though the company is going to be much bigger than just Samara,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
They first have to connect with a person, right? I'm their first connection. And so, it stretched me a little bit, but I decided to, hey, I'm okay. I'm gonna put a little bit more of my face out there so people can understand who and what my passion, my why, right? They can understand my why. And so that's the story that I wanted to share with everybody, right? So that they know who they're connecting with, and that's just been my journey, right?
Well, the thing is that people connect with people
Right,
through people's stories.
right,
And when we're talking about brand, we have to look at the brand as an entity, a living being by itself. So if you could imagine it, you can call your brand a specific name.
right,
So your brand is a person that grow, that has a culture, that has a way of doing things, of moving, that enjoys, certain things a certain way, that have certain colors. Because if we think about it, whenever we get dressed, we have our own brand without anybody. Even if you don't have any professional, anybody that's dressing you, you have a way that you dress.
right,
There's a combination of things that m- more often you put together.
right.
You have a personal brand.
There you go.
So
It's as
think
simple as
about it.
that, Right. And I never thought about it like, but that's very simple. Listen, I like to be comfy and casual, okay? And so tonight, comfy and casual,
There you
okay?
go. There you go.
So he's right, guys. It's as simple as that. Like, just take the time out to say, what do I like? Who am I? How do I want to represent myself? It's as simple as that. Like, starting with those questions, looking within so that you can help the branding experts bring
Hmm.
it without. Right? So,
I
definitely.
mean, think about that for a second, Samara. Like when somebody asks you, "Who are you?" I
Right.
really don't know. Okay, what are you trying to do? I'm not sure. Okay, what's your style? What do you like doing? Anything that's fun. Okay, that's a no
I
no.
have nothing to work with here.
Like we cannot work
Right, right,
because there's certain things that we need from you in order to be able to work with.
right,
Yeah, we're gonna pull the best, but you gotta give something to get
right,
something.
right. No,
So
I,
if you refuse completely, you just want to disconnect your story, your background, or I don't know, from your brand, that's a recipe of failure. Your brand will suffer,
it,
guaranteed.
it will suffer. And all the greats do it, right? All the greats have an awesome story. You think about Jeff Bezos. This man
Hmm.
started Amazon out of his garage.
There you
That's his
go.
story, selling books. That's his story, right? And so it's grown into so much more than that. You think about Apple, right? How they started this, and so again, it's a story, right, that people connect with first, and then they're like, I like that story. I can relate to that story. I want to connect with this X, Y, and Z company, right?
There you go.
So definitely all the greats have a story, right? They all share that openly, even though their story may not be the service, a part of the service that they're offering, but it's definitely a part of their why they're offering.
Mm,
Is that good? So
mm,
I'm learning,
yeah.
JP. I'm
Because to
definitely.
what you're saying, I was going to add something to it to help people have a different perspective. You just said all the great. Now, if we were to go all the way back to the beginning, they were not great when they started.
That's right.
Think about that for a second. They had to put their story, their why, into a way for people to connect with in order for them to become part of the great minds
Right.
of today. So imagine for a second if they hadn't done that.
Right. Would we resonate with it? Right. Right.
Now, here's the deal, you can have a successful business without having a brand. Yes, you can have a successful business
Okay.
and have no brand. Now, can that business last forever? No.
Okay.
See, that's the difference.
Longevity. Right.
Longevity, building that so that it can last for generations. And that's generational wealth. That's what we're talking about, right?
There we go. Now
That's what
you
we're
talking
talking
my
about.
language. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Generational wealth. Who wants to be working 9 to 5, regardless? Because you can be working 9 to 5 within your own business,
Correct.
right?
That's right.
So who wants to be doing that 9 to 5 forever? I mean, think nobody wants to do that.
No.
And we all have a ticking clock, right?
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
the time for all of us where, regardless of how hard we were working or not, we will not be able to do a lot of the things we're doing today.
Correct.
So, as we're strategically positioning ourselves and planning for our future,
Right.
our retirement, and all those things, business wise, your retirement is your brand.
That's good. And
All right.
so, without giving any more, I'm going to leave it on this note. If your retirement is your brand, Fye Finance family, protect it. Okay? There are things that you need to do. I'm in the process right now of protecting my brand. And so you want to make sure that you're protecting it if that is the end game for sure. And it should be. You should protect your brand. So awesome, awesome, awesome information, JP. We got one more question,
All
and
right.
then I'm going to be respectful of you and I's time, and we're going to call it. So Wayne says, is there a cost for the summit in January? I can answer that, JP.
Go ahead.
No, it's
No.
absolutely free. Right? Oh my gosh. I wish I could have like a confetti or something
I
fall.
know, right? I can't believe it's free. I
Right.
really cannot believe this is free. Six amazing speakers
Right.
giving all this. I mean, yo, I will
Right.
pay for this. Like,
Unheard of, right?
yeah,
Unheard of.
honestly.
Oh, we have a follow up. So Wayne says, if the summit is going to be more detailed than these teasers, then y'all gonna burn the place down, right? Right. So definitely appreciate you spending some time with us on tonight, JP. Thank you so much for giving
My
us
pleasure.
at least the building blocks, right, on what a brand is and who we need to work with in order to tell our story and share our brand with the world, right?
Hmm.
Definitely has been a journey for myself. Like I said, I can only speak from my own personal experience. There were some things that I had to go back to the drawing board with, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But I had your help and the help of others along the way to definitely make sure that I kept focused. I like that you meant that was one of your words, focus, right?
Focus.
To
Yes, ma'am.
focus me back on like what my end game was, right? And so I had to make sure that my brand aligned with that. So, a lot of good information, people. I hope you all were taking notes. Remember, safe, okay? Make
Hmm.
sure that you also join us on January 14th, because if you like this, oh my goodness, JP, he's
You
going to blow
don't
your
know what's
mind.
coming.
So,
Ooh, man.
again, JP, if you don't mind telling the people how to connect with you between now and January 14th.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll be more excited. On January 14th, if I see you there, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, you can connect with me just by going to my website, which you see right now, jphightek.com. And if you listen to the podcast, because this I believe is also an audio podcast, is jphightek.com. Go ahead, connect with me. You can book a free consultation with me as well, right? Same website for like booking, or just click on booking on the website. My company name for the folks that want to is Perfect Zone Productions. And again, this is what we do for a living. We'll make sure to help you build that premium brand that you deserve. Or if you just want to connect with me on social media, right? I am available on any social media you can think of, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, right? I also have my YouTube channel, which is JP Hightek Reviews. You can find me at JP Hightek right there. As you see, they're pulling it up on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. Same JPHIGHTEK. Find me there. I would love to connect with you. Message me. This is what we do, right? I'm gonna leave you with one thing. A business is mostly service based, but a brand is mostly purpose based.
Okay. Little teaser he leaving us with. Well, JP, I truly appreciate you taking the time to speak to the Fye Finance family tonight. And Fye Finance family, I hope that you were blessed by it. I know I truly was. Hey, we had a shout out from the HR plug. So
Let's do it.
I know, right?
Hey.
Hey. So definitely, definitely, definitely tune in on January 14th. Y'all do not want to miss this summit. JP, I am going to meet you backstage, but I'm going to say goodbye to all our guests, but we will talk soon, right? So hold on backstage for me. So, Fye Finance family. I hope that you were blessed by all of this good content, right? It was a lot, and there's going to be so much more. So definitely, again, make sure that you are registered. Make sure that you get your seat, right, for the free live event January 14th, okay? You definitely are going to be blessed again by JP. We had Charles Jackson on earlier this month. He is also going to be one of the keynote speakers. And then next week, we are going to have LaShawn Davis, who is also going to be a keynote speaker during the summit. So Definitely tune in for next week, right? So you can get another taste of what to expect during this live event, a free event, I might add, okay? So if you want to get this information and want to elevate, connect and elevate, because that is the name of the summit, definitely make sure that you have your seat. Okay, so Fye Finance family, thank you again for joining us on this Tuesday evening. I truly appreciate you all tuning in. So much good interaction on tonight. I love the questions. I love the vibe in the comments. Thank you so much. Please remember, right, tax season is upon us, so make sure you visit the website www.fyefinance.com. Book a free consultation. I think it's up as 2021 tax prep consultation, so you can book a free tax consultation. So you can reserve your spot to make sure that you can connect with us and be a client this upcoming tax season, right? We would love to have you. And for our returning clients, definitely you can book a consultation as well, especially if you have any changes going on. So again, a great live, right? Great information, great speaker. And thank you all for your time and a Merry Christmas. I didn't want to leave without saying Merry Christmas. I'm super, super excited to be celebrating my Lord and Savior's birth this weekend. And I hope that you are going to be doing the same with friends and family. Take this time to give the gift of your presence, right? Be present with your friends and your family and take time out to enjoy those things and reflect. Reflect on this year and how grateful you are to have life, right? I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for health. So definitely take a moment to reflect on all those things this weekend as we celebrate Christmas. So until next time, Fye Finance family, you all have a blessed and wonderful Tuesday evening. We will see you next week.